It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown. I'm just telling you to fight for your dreams, but it's not what it seems. Man, it's hard to be seen when everybody wants to be king. Yeah, they all want a ring. Yeah, we all want to be free.
It is Tuesday, and we have everything to talk about. Our Detroit Lions in training camp. What a training camp so far, folks. It has been wild and crazy. A lot of observations to talk about. A lot of plays and players to talk about. That's what it's all about. And to join me in this conversation, to join the show, we got Matt from Roar of the Lions UK and my little homie, Chrissy Z. What's going on, guy and gal?
What's up?
Matt, you excited?
What up, though, mate?
What is up? Go ahead, man.
No, just really happy to be here, man, and I'm so jealous that you've been at training camp all week. It's so cool.
Nothing to be jealous of, folks. Nothing to be jealous of. The only thing that needs to be jealous of is the fact that we only got 9 likes. Let's get the jealousy up to 20 with 20 people in the building. We got Roar Lions UK, my guy Wade, Devin, King, Antonio, Mark, Malik. A lot to cover. I'm going to go straight to math right here. Matthew. So far, you've read a lot about training camp. What is one big takeaway you can take right now from what has been taking place on the practice field?
I mean, the thing that stuck out to me, in the main, I'm a little short here. I'll get up a minute. There we go. Is that everything we hoped for from Malcolm Rodriguez seems to be coming true. He was repping with the 4s, with the 3s when he started out, and we're being told, and suddenly he's repping with the 1s. He's, they got the pads on, and he's really coming into his own, hitting guys, making his presence felt. He may be 5'11", but he's making a really big impact so far.
One of the takeaways I got to take away is today. Quintez Cephus going down. I watched it. It was pretty close to me. Sitting there, it was a big-time catch. He jumped in the air, caught it, hit the ground, but he didn't come back up. I don't know the extent of the injury, but right now the injury bug has hit the wide receiver core, and it took a while for him to get back up. That is terrible, terrible news. Also, Alim McNeill, he got taken down a little bit, but he did get back up. So I know a lot of people worried about that one. He did get back up. Good to go right there. DJ Hutchinson was at practice. He did not practice. He just had normal clothes on. I don't think it's anything to worry about. Takeaway, injury. We got Chrissy. She knows about injuries. She worked for the organization for 10 years. Why does this always have to happen to us? Why does our players got to get injured? What does a front office do when they start seeing players go down?
What does the front office do? Well, first, I have to give a shout out to my daughter, Abby, because she's watching live, and I told her that I would give her a shout out. So shout out to my girl, Abby. She's at home checking out me talking about football, which she has zero interest in. So that's very nice. In terms of what does a front office do when injuries happen? Injuries are just part of the game. So typically what tends to happen is somebody goes down and then there's the whispers of, okay, is it serious? Is it not serious? When is the person going to be back, et cetera? And so there's kind of a knowledge of what's going to transpire in terms of, do we have to look for another option? That sort of a thing. So immediately when somebody goes down, you'll start asking questions to the people that know, is it serious? Is it not serious? And it goes from there.
So just in case, I'm not saying Cephus is injured long-term, would they go ahead and look to sign somebody else if it is something long-term? Or do you think they would just stay with the wide receivers we got? We got a young guy in Khalil Pimpleton. Or do you think it'd be a good idea to go, hey, may have to sign somebody?
I mean, I think whenever you're looking at signing somebody, it's a matter of what's available. You can't materialize somebody out of thin air. So from my understanding, there's always conversations amongst clubs, amongst GMs. People are always, putting feelers out for different things, for different deals. So it's really just a matter of whether there's a realistic thing that can come about. I mean, you can sign people, you can sign undrafted free agents, you can sign different things, but they're not going to be of the same caliber. Every so often you'll have a deal that'll come to somebody's lap or it'll materialize and it works out. But from my understanding, and I'm not a GM and I was not, sitting with the GM, but calls come in all the time. So things come up all the time. And so it's just a matter of whether there's something serious that can actually be taken in.
Sometimes like in the NFL game, a guy gets tired and they put in second or third string, or they go ahead and demote a guy. I'm going to demote myself and make Chrissy the lead in this show. So I'm going to demote myself. I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to her. I'm going to let her run the show, and I'm just going to be a Matthew. I'm going to be a guy who just takes the questions.
Well, I don't know how much everyone's going to enjoy this, because I will tell you that the extent of training camp, I work a lot. So I work with Herman Moore here at Team 84, and I have a lot to do on a regular basis. And so I haven't really been able to watch much of training camp. So the extent of what I have seen thus far is players and the coaches singing happy birthday. Did anyone see that video? That's pretty much what I've seen so far. So I'm really looking to rely on you guys to tell me what's happening. I've seen some headlines that Aidan Hutchinson's doing well. I've seen some headlines about Rodriguez, all of this. So I want to hear you guys tell me, inform me what is going on right now with our team.
I watch Aidan Hutchinson right up front, and this guy is everything and more. The second pick in the draft. I really loved Aidan Hutchinson coming to the draft. I wanted him. You all seen it. I didn't know he'd be this good. He's even better than I expected. He is dominating on the line of scrimmage. He is a beast among men. He has made fools of Jonah Jackson and Penei Sewell at the same time. He is very fast, athletic. I don't care about his arm size. He has done exactly what the Detroit Lions needed to get on this edge. He is putting pressure upon this defensive line, and thanks to Aidan Hutchinson, Charles Harris as well is getting a lot of pressure from the edge. So this is something last year we didn't see. This is a big, massive observation that I've seen so far, Matthew, is we are getting pressure, finally. And as you know, pressure can resolve in getting turnovers and making big plays, but Jared Goff has been running for his life, and it's good to see for the defensive line perspective, Matt.
I mean, the thing is about this defensive line generally is we've always known that it has kind of pass rush upside, but it hasn't had that kind of one guy to put them over the top. So, Alim is definitely a guy that we know has got that sort of quick first step and actually has pass rush upside from the interior. But unless someone's taking attention away from him, maybe, the offense can handle that. So having someone like Aidan Hutchinson can completely unlock the entire line. The really impressive thing about Aidan is actually yesterday he had a pretty bad day by all accounts. He was stymied by a couple of different people, including, I think, Eze apparently had a really good rep against him yesterday, and Sewell had a really good rep. And instead of stacking bad days on top of each other, he went back, learned from his mistakes, and today apparently he had an absolute barnstormer, really kind of putting pressure on guys. He had a certified sack today, which is really good to hear. And it wasn't all perfect. Apparently Jonah Jackson put him on his ass today too. So it's not all going to be fantastic, but you hear Dan Campbell talk about this guy, and the thing is, if it's all shiny and it's all going really well, then it kind of puts me into thinking, well, maybe it's not Aidan. Maybe our offense isn't playing well, and that's a bad sign. But when you hear that Aidan has a bad day and our offensive line is doing well, and then Aidan comes back strongly, that's a sort of kind of to and fro that you're hoping from in training camp to iron out those problems. If Aidan is getting it easy, he's not developing, but we know he's getting better every day now.
Yeah, it's great to hear that our second pick overall is doing well. And honestly, what I want to hear from you, Mike, because you were at camp, you've been at camp, and I do know that there is that piece when you're there, there's an ambiance, there's a a recognition of what's going on as a whole that you don't get just from reading the news clips. So I'm curious, from the observations that you've been able to make the last couple days, what is the dynamic of the team right now? Is there anything that you're picking up on that you find particularly interesting in terms of the way people are communicating with one another, or anything in particular that's happening or transpiring that we wouldn't know just from reading the news clips?
The players are having a fun time. And I know it's weird because we're talking about training camp and working out, but you have people dancing on the field. You had Jamal Williams going crazy, and I'm like, dang, I feel like I need to do the tango. But you're noticing that players are just, they're happy. It's not something that I've seen with the Matt Patricia regime. I was at the training camp as well. It is a different feel to it. They're volunteering to go up the hill and run with the defense. It's something you would never see before. It is a different type of atmosphere of fun, and you can feel it talking to the players, talking to DeAndre Swift, talking to Taylor Decker. They are in a good mood. They are happy. They're happy that the fans are there. That's something that I don't think you'd probably see as well. Taylor Decker really loving it that everybody is coming out. Talk to Swift. He's really happy that everything is going good. I don't know if it's because of the past regime was so awful or this regime is much better, but the players are happy, and that is a really good thing for the Lions in the change of culture that we're trying to do here in Detroit.
Yeah, I like happy. At the same time, I want to make sure we're prepared, right? So you've got that swing that goes from miserable to happy, and then you wait till that first preseason game and see if it's going to come to fruition. Now, granted, preseason, no, it's not what you really look for in terms of a measuring stick, but you can at least see if there's a caliber there that you're looking for in terms of the season. So I hope that it's not all, do I say fun and games? I hope it's not all talk. It's not all just having a good time, and that there is actually preparedness, and that, they are going to actually be ready, and that there's talent there that's going to convert.
They're feisty.
Matt, what do you think? They're feisty. Okay, well,
they're fighting. They're fighting in it, but it's they got that dog mentality, but they're fighting, and it's competitiveness that it's a different level. It's hard to really explain, Matt.
I mean, I don't know whether you guys have seen the new 12-second trailer for Hard Knocks. It's Dan Campbell giving a snippet of a briefing, and it's only very short, but it's him talking about what his definition of grit is. And the passion comes through. I think that Dan Campbell some people like to, either have a kind of fear factor or excitement factor. But Dan has excitement and he has passion. And it just comes over so well. And you see the look in the guy's eyes. There's one that's already kind of becoming a meme. I can't remember who it is. It might have been Kabinda. I can't remember. But you can see it in his eyes. They are locked in. They are hungry. And just because they're having fun doesn't mean they are deadly serious about being in business right now.
They're dogging right now. I mean, they're competing. When Cephus got injured, that was him and Okudah. Jumped in the air, make a big play. They're fighting each other. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a battle warrior in this practice. He's fighting with everybody, but it's not bad fight. It's competitiveness. They're going at it. The coaches are going crazy when a big play happens, jumping up in the air, throwing their fists. It is exactly what you want to see. It is a change. To me, when I'm watching the camp, what I'm seeing is we used to be a finesse football team, and, that's cool, get the big stats. But now we're starting to see a feisty football team. But they're having fun. It's not personal.
So how do you gather feisty? Like, how do you get that from practice? Tell me how you're pulling that. Like, what observations are you making that tells you that this is a team with an edge?
One-on-one drills. You got a defender or a linebacker going against a running back, and they have them square up, and the running back goes, and the linebacker's supposed to tackle him. They're doing one-on-one drills, and every time a tackle hits, the defense goes nuts, and if the offense or the running back, whoever it is, gets past it, the offense goes nuts. The coaches are jumping in the air. It is raw emotion, playmaking, fun all together. Exactly what you want to see. It's raw emotion. It's something that I didn't see when I was watching Matt Patricia in their camp. I just didn't see this type of emotion.
I think it all comes directly from the coaches specifically. It's all from the top down. It starts with Dan, but it's the coaches outside of that. So when you see Shep kind of jumping on the field to congratulate Malcolm Rodriguez when he's making a big hit, or if, the offense or defense makes a play, when the coordinators come out and the position coaches come out and they're the first ones to lead the cheering, the whole team reacts with them. And that's what culture is. It's built directly from the coaches, so the players feel empowered to kind of bring it themselves, and then it self-substantiates. It only takes one of them to bring it for them all to then become a group as one. I know it's a horrible little thing that we do now, but it is one pride. Like, finally, they are becoming the Lions that we have known are in there somewhere, but it's only just being reborn now.
So Mike, tell me, so when was the last time that you felt this way then? Because I hear both of you talking about how this has come back and this is what we've been looking for. So when was the last time that you felt like the team was in this same place?
I don't know if it was a little bit different, but 2011 when I went to training camp and I seen the Lions there and Calvin Johnson and Matthew Stafford, Ndamukong Suh, there was a competitiveness and there was a confidence that this is something a little bit different. It is an edgy look. I haven't seen that in a while. And you got that edgy look. You got that that competitiveness of the players going against each other, but it's not turning into brawls. It's not pointing fingers. It's none of that. It's straight player v. player, win, competitiveness, getting the position in there, who is the best. I haven't seen it since 2011.
Yeah,
I think
was there in
actually,
2011.
just to jump in, the biggest
year.
The biggest difference to me about this team and where we've seen it in the past is what Mike just said. It's expectation. And when Dan Campbell says, that they believe they can win right now, sometimes you can see in a team they don't quite believe it. And you see it with some other teams right now, the Chicago Bears in particular, just because it's funny to mention them. But with this team right now, there's an expectation that they're going to do things. And then they come on the practice field, and because it means something, because they know there's something on the line, they've got something to lose, they're bringing it even harder than they would do normally. So building the expectation has also been a big part of what's happened.
Yeah, I can see that. I think, too, like I was talking about with 2011, that was a really fun year. And one of the things, though, is when you're in training camp, when you have talent. Players know when they have talent. They know when the team is made up of talented players that can actually achieve something. So you don't really need to convince yourself of that. When the team could compete in the upcoming season. And so that's something that I'm curious, did it feel that way? When you look at this team on the practice field, is there a sense of talent? Does anybody pop out? Is anybody kind of rising to the surface in terms of talent?
Amon-Ra St. Brown is straight balling right now. He has taken over that position as a leader, in my opinion. He is the alpha of the group. He is making play after play after play. He seems to be unstoppable on the edges. Anytime he gets that football, he is beating the defense. He is definitely taking a role, in my opinion, as I don't know if it's a straight leadership role or an absolute confidence, but he has really excelled at that position. And Jared Goff, I got to shout out to him too. Last year at this time when I was at training camp, he was not confident. He was throwing nothing but 5-yard passes. Now he's throwing deep passes. You're seeing it quite a bit. It's footballs being placed 5 yards, 20 yards, and even longer. We didn't see that this year at this time. The offense seems confident. And that is definitely a positive note, very much so.
Matt, would you expect Amon-Ra St. Brown to have been in a leadership position this year?
Not yet, no. I mean, the guy's a 4th-round pick, right? And I know that he is counting the names of the wide receivers taken before him, and we all know how well he did last year. I mean, those last 6 games was an absolute tear. If you take those last 6 games, project over a full season, he's looking at 1,600 yards. I mean, this is a guy that absolutely transformed what is possible from a guy of his stature and his position. You know, if you told me he was Cooper Kupp light, you know, I could kind of believe it. But even with that, he's a kind of softly spoken guy that leads by example. To hear that he's taking more of a leadership role is surprising, but really encouraging to me. The guy goes out there and he catches 200 balls after every practice, right? You can see him do that. And I think that was kind of almost on his own a bit last year. The team didn't expect much, and he was putting in the extra work because he was a rookie. This year, he ain't a rookie, and he ain't doing it alone. He's carrying people with him, leading by example in the best way possible.
All right, so Mike, I'm going to pass it to you to do your whole likes and comments thing because I can't see the comments and you're running the show. So I want you to go ahead and do your thing.
Right now, folks, we got 71 in the building with only 33 likes. Unacceptable. Go ahead and make sure we get to 50 likes. I think we can get to that. Go ahead and smash it. Also, do a hashtag #OnePride in the comment section. If you're really excited for Lions season here coming up real soon, put a hashtag #OnePride right now. I'm going to do that from my end. Hashtag #OnePride. Let's get that stuff flowing.
We're also going to have Herman Moore joining us here shortly. So if anybody has any questions they want to throw out to Big Herm, put it in the comment section.
Yeah, and if you do a super chat, it really pops out as well. Be thrown right to the top of the getting your question answered section. It's really easy for me to track, and we can get it asked to Big Herm when he gets on.
We can. So, Mike, follow-up question for you. You know, the guys start out there, they're each in their position groups. You know, is there any position group that is standing out to you right now as being particularly hype, being particularly on it? Like, is anybody or any group really standing out to you?
The running back group right now has stood out big time to me today. DeAndre Swift is really looking good. He's very fast. He's in shape. He is participating fully in camp. You know, he's been nicked up through the past couple of years, but he has looked everything. And I don't know if it has to do with the fact that the offensive line is healthy, but they're doing big runs there. Even Jamal Williams had a good couple of reps today, hitting the holes, looking confident. And I tell you what, Craig Reynolds continues to impress me all around. He just on the field, and he's consistently making plays, whether it be out of the backfield as a receiver as well as a running back. And today, to me, Jermar Jefferson, I've been waiting to see what he can do. He had a big-time play, got the football, hit the hole, took it outside, and went about 55, 60 yards for a TD. And, of course, even Godwin Igwebuike, he didn't drop the football today. He was doing a lot of punt and kick returns, and he looked really fast. So I got to say, today and yesterday altogether, the running backs look really good, depth all around.
Who are the fans excited
I love how...
about? Like, who are the fans getting behind?
The fans are getting behind, I would have to say, DJ Chark and Jared Goff. Anytime there's a big play, anytime that there's a deep pass, it's generally to him, from what I've seen, or Josh Reynolds, and the crowd goes crazy when it completes it.
Okay. Sorry, Matt. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, sorry. Because of the delay, it's kind of hard for me to jump in. But I think about the running backs. Jermar Jefferson's super, exciting to me just because it seemed like every time he touched the ball when he was fit last year, he was scoring touchdowns. And then he gets injured, and that kind of sets him back, and he's kind of behind the 8 ball now to even get a roster spot. I like how the nicest thing we can say about Godwin is that he didn't fumble the ball. But in terms of the running back room, and I know we haven't really seen him yet, but the new signing, Justin Jackson, is super exciting to me as a prospect. And, you know, he's been kind of behind a good few good running backs at the Chargers. But the guy has had an ascending career so far in terms of rushing 5.4 yards per attempt in his 68 attempts last season, which is the most he's had in his career so far. He was only a 7th round pick in 2018. But this guy's going to have a legitimate shot to make this roster because as good as Craig Reynolds has done, he's a UDFA, and we've shown faith in him. But if you think you can't knock him off this roster as RB3, I think you're wrong, because look at what some of these guys have done. Jackson has held on that Chargers roster when you've had some really good players in there. So I wouldn't do him down just yet. I feel bad for Greg Bell, though, because it looks like he's going to miss some significant time as a result. Well, the signing came as a result of his injury, right? So, but the running back room, super, super impressive. It's interesting to me to hear you say about DJ Chark, because kind of understated guy, lets his work on the field do the talking, but because he's been injured so much, you look at the guy, 6'4", 4.34 speed, and you think and pray and hope this new shiny toy for us can be wide receiver 1. Because if this guy can make the most of those physical traits on one side, and then Williams comes back on the other side, we got 2 legit wide receiver 1s and on Amon-Ra St. Brown. That could be one of the best wide receiver rooms in the entire league if that comes together. And Chark is the most important piece of that right now.
You know, yesterday, Jared Goff threw I'd say about 30 to 35-yard pass over the shoulder to DJ Chark. It was a drop dime right into his hands while running. Perfect throw, perfect catch, and the crowd went nuts because that's exactly what we didn't have last year. We didn't have that ability to really go down range or have somebody to actually convert and get that catch. DJ Chark has shown that we can actually go down range. And just like you said, when Jameson Williams is back, it's going to even be double of that.
Absolutely. Were the fans excited about any defensive plays?
Aidan Hutchinson, anytime he would get near as a potential sack, obviously you can't really hit the quarterback, but he is so easy to spot because as soon as he's off the line of scrimmage, he's chasing after Jared Goff or Tim Boyle, and the fans love it. They're in love with our number 2 pick and definitely cheer him on, but at the same time, they still want to see the offense score. So it's kind of double-edged sword right there.
Absolutely. So are there any fans that have been standing out to you, Mike? Anybody really bringing their A game? I know that you saw Dose. I know you said you saw King. Like, you know, is there anybody that's at practice that's really showing out from a fan perspective?
I would have to say, I don't know who they were, but there are people, they're kind of yelling at Tim Boyle saying, "Who are you, Tim Boyle? Who are you, number 12? You're terrible." And because he kept missing a lot of passes yesterday, I don't even know if he converted one. He kept doing it, and so the crowd was getting on Tim Boyle. That was quite funny. That's really the most noticeable thing. There wasn't a lot of hype, in all honesty. There wasn't people going crazy. Dose Deanna wasn't doing backflips.
I feel so bad.
Michael Banks wasn't there?
No, he's not there.
Oh, I mean,
Just the
I
thing
saw
about
pictures
Tim
of
Boyle
everybody wearing this little chain. Go ahead, Tim Boyle.
Yes, I saw
ahead.
that picture too. He looks so cool, Mike. I love that guy. When Chrissy, when we met at Thanksgiving, and I met Mike for the first time, that was one of the coolest moments. I mean, meeting you guys and Herman but Mike is the guy. The thing about Tim, when I came to meet you guys at Thanksgiving, the tailgate I went to, Tim Boyle's parents were there, and meeting them was a really nice experience. They are some of the nicest people I met on my entire trip. And they were just humble and just praying that it was going to go well. Obviously, things didn't go as they could have gone in Green Bay for him. And I'm pulling for the guy. You hear about how much work he's putting in, but Mike, you're killing me there with saying he's not completing any passes. This is awful. Can we get in someone else, please?
Now, yesterday, it was one of the worst practices I've ever seen. And it was just, nothing was being completed. It was 5-10 yards over to the receiver. He couldn't even complete a 5-yard pass. We're just like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe he drank something before practice. He was better today. He was completing 5-yard passes. He's got a strong arm. That's the thing. He has the strongest arm of the running back group. You can see it. He's got that Stafford ability to freaking launch a football. But it's just like a North Korean missile. Just because you have those long-range missions doesn't mean it's actually going to hit its targets. Whoosh, and it flies out of the way. So that's kind of what you notice there.
Makes me think of, the Detroit Lions charity golf outing when you'd get some of these guys who could just – Don Muehlbach was notorious for hitting the golf ball like 400 yards in the wrong direction. Sorry.
That's what it is.
But, I mean, it looked really nice, but it was just like way hooked or sliced or however. I think he had a really good slice if I think about it.
I'm not going to lie, in the stands, I was thinking, well, he is throwing misguided, so maybe I'll be able to catch a pass if it's 20 yards away to go to my hand.
It is funny that you say that, though, Matt, that you met his parents and they're lovely people. It is funny, all of these players are real people with real families. And so it is funny, sometimes you get to know some of these guys and it's you really want them to do well and you cheer for them and everything like that. But yeah, it doesn't always work out that way.
I mean, one of the most heartwarming things about camp is when you see it finish and then they bring their kids out on the field and play catch with them or something. So I think Tracy did that after camp today. And it's just one of the most heartwarming things about it, because then you do realize, no, these are real people. And you think about all of the guys that we've dogged on because, they've had legitimately bad play. And, maybe they have deserved a bit of criticism sometimes. But then you have a look at that and you're like, man, maybe it needs to stay professional and not get too personal, because these guys are real people and they're playing for their careers. Some of these guys are here on $500,000 and maybe it's their last shot. And then if they leave here, they've got to go and get a real job, or maybe they go to the XFL or something. So I don't know. I'm going to keep it professional always as much as I can.
I must say, Khalil Pimpleton is the nicest young man you'll ever meet. He says, sir. He's super cool, really good, came right up. We had a conversation. He's the nicest guy in the world. I'm really rooting for him to make the team. If Cephus got hurt, he has a potential to make the team, but he is a outstanding human being.
You're talking about the starting kick returner, Khalil Pimpleton, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a couple things. One, Matt, football's a real job. It's a real job.
Yes,
Two,
indeed.
I had my kids in 2010, 2012. So I got to have two of my little ones at camp. And it was really cool. I had these visions, the same sort of thing. I have pictures of my youngest with an actual helmet. I have holding a football and the football's as big as him, like he was a little toddler. Yeah, they don't care about sports now. It's I had these visions of them being my kids would be next to me cheering for things and being on fields and yeah, they don't care. Not even remotely. It's very sad.
My 16-year-old loves playing football. She loves being a wide receiver. She can beat up anybody her own age. Taught her well. And she's tall. You've seen her.
Karate. That's about as good as I got right now.
Hey, you gotta karate chop those boys and girls away.
All right, Mike, I think it's a good time for a reset for your likes, and then Herman should be on any moment.
Yeah, definitely. Again, we got 100 in the building. Let's get to 75 likes. Hey, we talk about this YouTube algorithm. It's 100% for real. So the more likes you get, it helps pushes this content out there. We're trying to change a narrative in Detroit. A lot of negative talk, mainstream media saying, oh, we're just the worst team in the world. Well, guess what? We're trying to change it here. That's what Lions Nation Unite is all about. Also, you guys got to go to LNUshop.com. LNUshop.com is absolutely amazing. I'm wearing the shirt right here. You can get epic shirts. Yeah, see right there.
Oh, I mean, that right there, I would buy that just from that.
Thank you. Seriously.
That this much of the shirt, I'm in.
I use it as shirts that I wear outside, the shirts that I wear inside. The reason I got this sweatshirt on, it got a little cold in the studio here.
It was like, everybody look.
Well, it's a little bit cold. I planned on wearing it. But yeah, right here, yeah. It's really epic, though. They got a lot of good gear. Balaclavas, hats, shirts. LNU has it all for you. So make sure you go to LNUshop.com for the latest and greatest gear. I think it's epic.
It is pretty epic. Give a shout out to our guy PK who designs all of our stuff.
I mean, the stuff, just to say, I've got a couple of the shirts, and the thing that's underrated about them is just how comfortable they are, because sometimes I think people can think, oh, if I don't get them from sort of some big name label and I'm not spending $100 on a shirt, that it's, you know, it's not going to be the most comfortable thing in the world. And then these things come through. I put it on and I'm like, I can just wear this all day. It's breathable, it's comfortable, and, you know, why would you not get one?
Oh yeah, no question. We do get, they are very high quality. They don't fall apart. They're nice.
And there are all sorts of anything you want to have. I'm waiting for you guys to do like epic camouflage, really cool. I love camouflage. Any veterans out there, blow up the comment section with camouflage. We love it. That's what we love.
Oh yeah, don't worry. We've got so many designs that are in the hopper that will be released, and so it's going to be very exciting. So hopefully we get some wins rolling this season, because when we get wins rolling, everyone gets excited, and then they want to just talk about how excited they are, and then we want to wear things and buy things and have fun together. And wins solve everything.
It definitely solves everything. It solves my migraines, solves addiction.
Makes everything better. Winning,
definitely. Charlie Sheen knows exactly how to make you feel better, and in multiple ways.
So is 2011, would you say that's the last time you felt this excited about a team, or are you not there yet with this team yet?
For the direction of this football team, I'm super excited. I think that we got the right coaching staff. We have the right leadership all the way down. I think that this team is becoming what I've been wanting this, not even in 2011. I believe that this team has been a soft team for a while, a finesse football team. I believe to win in the NFC North, you have to be a more physical football team. When you think of the Pittsburgh Steelers, you think of the Baltimore Ravens, you think of teams that are willing to beat you up and chew you up and spit you out. You know, we could put up all the big points you want, but at the end of the day, you need to battle in the cold, in December. You need to be able to fight in those gritty games. And to me, this is the first time that we've had that type of gritty football team. Do I think we're making the playoffs? Personally, a lot of people knows, I do not believe we're making the playoffs. I think 7-8 wins, that's for my side, but if that team is coming slowly into the team I believe they're going to become, I'm fine with that, because it's not about 1 year success. It's about the longevity of a franchise to have success for multiple years and be a perennial winner, something that we've not had. I think that's the most important thing. A team where you can say, yeah, this team's got a shot to make the playoffs every year. That's what I want to hear. That's how you're going to win. That's how you're going to win playoff games. You're going to win Super Bowls. Not just having one good year or having 2 good years in 10 years. It's having good years every year.
Agreed. What do you think, Matt?
I mean, in terms of how many wins and that sort of thing and expectations for the season, it was actually said in the comments in the YouTube chat here that game 1 is so important, right? I mean, going up a team that kind of really handed us one of our worst defeats of the season, we're playing them again. We've got to have our run defense up together in that game. And it's not like we have to win, but we have to not lose badly. If we can go against the Eagles and go, you know what, this is a team which, by a lot of people in the media, they think that this team is going to compete for the NFC this year. So if we can go up against the Eagles and be competitive, we can give a good showing. If we win, oh my God. But good showing in that game, and the momentum's going to build. Then we're going to go against one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, against the Commanders. I mean, I fully expect us to be 1-1 after that. If we can get a little bit of momentum, beat the Vikings away too, and we can get on a roll, momentum's going to be a real thing for this team. We start losing, could get real ugly real fast. Start winning, and who knows how far we could go. This team could be between 4 and 12 wins, and I just have no idea where it's going to be. We start winning a few games on the fly, the belief will go through the roof.
To add on that as well, folks, yes, I'll be at training camp tomorrow, repping LNU, so come on down, hang out, let's take some pictures, have a good time. That's what training camp is all about. I seen that in there. Huge shout out to Dr. Detroit hooking me and Dosa Dion up. You are the G. But yeah, let's come hang out. Let's take pictures. I'd love to get a bunch of pictures together. We do like an LNU collage. I throw it to Chrissy. She's the queen of it. We'll get some cool stuff flowing.
Yes, I'm the queen of collages.
Yes, because I suck at.
Man, I don't like what you're saying about like you just hope we have a good showing, even if if we don't win. As long as we have a good showing, it'll be great. I'd rather we say we have no chance than say I hope we have a good showing.
We're gonna have no chance if Jared Goff goes down. I can tell you that.
So, Mike, do you think that Goff is the way that he's showing things right now? Do you think that he is good enough to win those 50-50 games? Because last year, I think that he might have been the difference between us losing a lot of those one-score games. Do you think that he's improved enough that maybe we can flip that a little bit?
I think with the talent around him, he's going to win more games like that. He doesn't have to be the guy. That's the thing. I think last year is a little different because we just didn't have the talent around him. Maybe he had to push it a little bit harder. But with Jamison Williams eventually coming in there and DJ Chark and the running game that we have and a defensive line that can get turnovers, by the way, you have a defensive line that puts pressure on the quarterback. The secondary, whom, by the way, has looked really good. Jeffrey Okudah has looked good. What happens, folks? Turnovers win games. So I think that it can win with Jared Goff this year, some of those games that maybe we would have lost. It's the talent around him that's really, really important. And when last year he had zero of that, well, what do you expect? Now he can give it to his playmaker. He can give it to Swift with a better offensive line. He can, the defense can get me the ball back if I need it to give me the ball back. They can do that. Aidan Hutchinson can get that real big sack on third down. That'll give me that ball back as well.
I'm like pausing to see if you're going to respond, Max. I don't want to.
I know the delay.
Sorry, the delay is really causing havoc. I mean, I just want to go back to Malcolm. Malcolm's the guy for me that's just emblematic of what's going on right now. I mean, I heard apparently that he managed to knock Igwebuike on his butt. Like, how are you going to do that? The guy's a kick returner. He's going to be speedy in that gap. I mean, I know that Malcolm's 5'11". How is he doing this?
He's very fast. What I've noticed him, he's sideline to sideline. No doubt about it. Very intense. And to speak of all of the linebackers, he's the only one I've really noticed. And that's sad because there's not a lot going on there. I paying attention, watching it, but he's very fast. I don't care really about his size. He is noticeably smaller than everybody else, and Chrissy just got kicked off. That's okay. But Herm is on, and what's going on, Herm?
Hey, what's good?
We just hear talking some football. Now Chrissy's back on. I got to send him that other link. Remember how it knocked you off, Chrissy? We got to do that.
I sent it.
Oh, there he's back.
hey, so what are we doing here? We kicking each other on and off?
Yeah, you're kicking each other on and off. That is exactly what's going on. So let me
Come on, man.
Let me send Chrissy the same link. It's a different one, and then get that one there. But yeah, real excited. Chrissy, there you go. Now she's on. All right, let me put her on. But what you gotta say, Herm? Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate it always. I'm here to hang out with you a little bit, kick it. Anthony,
Absolutely.
what's up, man?
Hey, Herm, how are you?
Hey, good. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
See, my intelligent self just went to the other link because that's how I roll.
That works out well. Folks, if you got questions for Herman Moore, the legend, put it in the comment section with the hashtag. If you do a super chat, will get pushed to the top of the line. He's here to answer your questions. And yes, he's got more hair than me. And it's crazy, but it's 100% true.
Here, I'll ask you a question, Herm. So So Mike was talking about the mood in camp and how everybody's hype and everyone's happy and everyone's excited, and that's a really good indicator of success to come. So I'm curious, from your vantage point, what was the mood like in training camp when you were getting ready for a season, and did that correlate in any way with performance during the season?
You know what? There weren't a lot of new contracts being signed at that time, and the excitement around getting out on the field and the fans and just really the spectacle, the entertainment that's part of camp now, it just makes it different. You don't have to do the tour days and full pads and all the other stuff that goes with it, so you're overly tired or exhausted. So I think if you look at camp, it is an environment that invites the fans to be able to have a preview of the team. They are able to have a little bit more interaction with the personalities of the players. The players get to know their fan base to a limited degree. Obviously, they're not going to see all 50, 60,000 people, but it definitely allows you to have a different touch point. You talk about Hard Knocks being in town. You talk about the social media. It just allows you to have a whole different type of touch point, a whole different type of connection and love and an affinity or dislike for team and players. So I think it's just great. I think it's different. I think it's helped a lot with the fan engagement. But at the end, when you strip all that away, players have to perform, coaches have to coach, and you have to go out and win games. A lot of the rest of it is just a plus factor. It's an X factor.
Do you have a preference in terms of being all business and just kind of going at it that way, or do you like the lighthearted type of attitude?
I absolutely love this organization, the regime. I love the attitude they've taken, and some people are going to push back against it. They're going to think, seeing Coach Campbell out doing up and downs and seeing him having that type of thing may remind them of someone else who used to come out that was highly touted and brought in as a GM that was out doing some things during practice as kind of a distraction. But I see this as a coach that the players have really bought into, which is a huge piece. I've said this since Coach Campbell and his team has been assembled and his coaching staff, that is one of the parts that when the season gets tough or when you need to be hard on your team, you got to have that channel of communication be intact. He's done a great job of getting that done. And when you look at some of those things that will affect a team's performance, that will allow them to be able to achieve on the field, people forget about those tangibles like that. And I don't. I'm telling you, as a player, it means a lot when you're going to be criticized, when the coaches are going to have to get after you, or when you need to go in and tell a coach, hey, trust me, this is what I'm seeing, and these are the things that need to be done, that they're going to buy into that with you as a starter or as at least a player that's competent and out there making consistent plays. So I really love what's happening with this organization. I love what's happening with the coaching staff, and the fans in that sense should feel very, very excited, whether you like the Lions or you're a fan or not, that they've made some changes that you can tie directly to something tangible and visible that you can see.
Fantastic. So we've got a few questions coming in, and a couple of them were related to singing, Herman. So when you were a rookie, did you have to sing? Did you sing Michael Jackson? Did you sing something else? Or what was it that you had to do as a rookie?
Well, as a rookie, I just had to pull out my checkbook most of the time. I didn't, and I had to go buy stuff like food, bring breakfast, bring donuts, get, I think it was Popeye's chicken and biscuits for the entire team prior to us leaving on a Saturday to head out of town for games. It's just crazy. So I had to make sure they were fed. I had to make sure they had entertainment. So yeah, that was my thing. Mel Gray was probably our closest guy to being able to be considered a true recording artist. Like if he wanted to have a career in singing, Mel Gray would have been that guy, not me. Now, if you want me to be background, they kick me. Listen, I'm so bad. Anyone who's gone to church, you typically don't notice individual people in a choir. I was so bad they kicked me out of the choir at church. That's how bad I was. Someone noticed I was singing, but they actually told me don't sing, just lip sync. This true story.
I mean,
This is
Does
a
anyone
true
think
story.
we
Yeah, I
should
was
be
gonna
doing
say.
karaoke?
I mean, I would say you could lip sync and just do the dance moves, but I don't know that you're a great lip syncer either.
Oh no, come on now. Don't get me going with a lip sync battle. I'm the lip sync master.
But you have to know the
I even lip
lyrics to
sync
do a
over
lip sync
movies.
battle.
Come on, no. I don't know the lyrics to some of these songs where it's already muffled. I can't even. The lyrics sometimes are so bad in songs today. You have to if they don't give you the lyrics or you go search that on the internet, you don't even know what they're saying. And you can listen to it 100 times. You go, what? And they be making up words.
This is
they
true, and I've
conjugate them, and they don't even make sense.
Yeah, and I've had songs where I've looked up what is being said, and then you listen back to it, and it still doesn't sound like what it technically is supposed to be.
All right, so that's when you do one of those
so
there when you're talking and they don't see your lips. Yeah, do one of those right there.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay. All right. So talk about Wayne Fonts. Did you hate seeing Coach Fonts? But I know he was your favorite coach.
Yeah, I love Wayne Fonts. He was responsible. He and Kevin Colbert, who eventually became GM with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Ron Hughes. Those guys were instrumental in getting me here, but also in my struggles keeping me here and allowing me to develop the right way. Coach Fonts was a coach. Everyone who knows him and had the opportunity to meet him, they know what kind of personality he brings. Some people will equate that or kind of make that look, say, the last person they saw was like that was Wayne Fonts that they see in Coach Campbell. They're totally different in their approach. Coach Fonts was a little bit more light about it. Coach, I think you got a nice blend with Coach Campbell in the fact that he played at that level, and then also coming back and he's really identifying with the players, and he's not so far removed in such a gap that the players don't respect him and his era and his time when he played, the era in which he played. So yeah, Coach Fonts, great player. I mean, great coach. Players coach. I see a lot of that in Coach Dan Campbell, but I see it at just a different depth of compatibility with the players.
Now, I know the answer. I think I know the answer to this. Which current DB, Herman, would you not want to go up against? And I think I know the answer.
I know the answer.
Go ahead.
And everybody on here knows that I don't care about any of the DBs that are out there right now. I had to go against them. Why would I care? What I would care about is whether or not I'm going to allow them to affect how I eat. I mean, that's just real. And that's not a craziness. You want receivers that go, listen, do I respect the defensive backs? Do I respect the fact that you have some players that can that's going to play you all game, that's going to just basically be in your pocket? Absolutely. Been there, done that. But what you look for is as if you want to be an elite athlete, you want to be an elite player, you want to make it against those type players. Those are the ones that make you better. And then every time you face someone who doesn't possess that same skill or that same tenacity, you act like you're going to eat them for lunch. But yeah, so me, I look for, again, for the record, I always paid attention to the defensive coordinators. And I used to pay attention to the different packages after I beat that first guy. Who were the other, what other sets of defensive calls were they going to place? Like, was it going to be 2-man? Was it going to be some type of a triangle? Was it going to be a walked out linebacker and those type of things? Because eventually I didn't have success unless I made the defense have to adjust versus whatever they thought they were going to do versus what they had to do.
What was it that you always would say to? What was it that you'd say to DBs that were up against you one-on-one? What does your coach hate you?
No, yeah, I just asked him. I said, "What did you do wrong? What did you do wrong to get this assignment? Like to be up here and bump and run? Who did you pee off? Like who did you get upset to where they said, you know what, we're gonna make you have to go do this, at least on this national televised game. Now I did get handed my butt sometimes. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some. So I want to sit here and think that I didn't, get shut down sometimes. I did. Every player, if they said they didn't, they sat on the bench, and the only thing that was going to shut them down was the Gatorade. But, this was the NFL. You got to come in with that type of confidence, but your mindset has to be that you're going to play within what the playbook is for you and what your responsibility is for that team. But when you do it, you got to go out and execute it. As receivers, we don't touch the ball as many times. I mean, you think about it. For a receiver to get 10 catches or 10 passes thrown his way or 15, that's a lot. You're going to be around that 3 to 5. So you have 3 to 5 plays to make an impact on the entire game. The other places you make it, and I want to make sure everyone understands, look at our receivers. Look, when you got a running back like DeAndre Swift, or you got Williams in the backfield, or you got anyone catching the ball that can make runs after the catch, which this receiving unit possesses both in the receiver position and the tight end position and the running back position, I would challenge them blocking downfield. I would actually give out bonuses to say, I can give you more bonuses in your contracts for blocks you give that spring a player that goes for a touchdown. That's just as good to me as you scoring that touchdown when you can do that for your teammate. That was the mindset that we had as receivers.
I will say, by the way, that we did, when we did the Breaking Bread interviews with you and Lowe, and we did the 10 in the Den, and 100%, one of my favorite episodes was when we did the players that you guys went up against, your top 10. And when you went through the guys that you went up against that were the biggest challenges, there were some really big names and some names that you wouldn't have suspected and some names that you did. And I thought that was a really awesome episode for both of you guys to talk about.
Every player is going to tell you, they're going to always tell you, get that 1 or 2 players that no one knows who they are, but man, they just shut you down. And you, no matter what you do, even coaches start throwing away from you. It's like, what did I do in this game? If you look at some of my playoff games, I used to play against Green Bay. I could not understand, like, why am I not getting passes thrown to me during a playoff games? And it always baffled me. You go through the whole season, and then in the playoffs, the coverage is not even the same because the talent steps up. They're playing either, single or some type of not an easy coverage, but it's coverage that can be beat. And all of a sudden you're like, man, this is the toughest thing. And a guy you're playing against, you don't even know who that is. It's like, come on, man.
Okay, so let's look at the question. So Herman, would you consider mentoring our current receivers?
I always offer just an opinion or any knowledge that I have to give back. I would never want to overstep the person who's in there with them every single day, and that is their coach. Antoine Randall is going to give them far more in terms of how their package works and how they can play within the system and what their role and responsibilities are than myself or any other player. Can we advise players and give them some little tidbits here and there to say, hey, from a mentoring standpoint, here's your approach to the game. Here's how you handle success. Here's how you handle a loss or big drop. And then you have to come back. Here's how you get in and out of, a little bit of a lull as a player. And then, here's how you handle the attention. Those are things I see players like myself. We've heard some of the things about Calvin and maybe getting in there and talking to some of the rookie receivers or younger receivers. That's all fine and dandy, but we can't help them on the field any more than their coaches can. I think, but what we can give them is assurance or confirmation of whether or not there are tools or other things that they can do to overcome some of the challenges and or the successes that they have as an NFL player.
Okay, so Dr. Detroit asks, who was the most difficult corner you faced or defense in general? And I'll find the link to the 10 in the Den so I can give it to Mike and he can put it in the chat. But
ironically, so the biggest battle and probably the most physical was always against Corey Fuller at Minnesota. And because we talked a lot, he always wanted to make sure, I don't care how short of a pass, go look at any of our games. He would always try and deliver the biggest hit on me that he could. I don't care if I'm on the sideline. I don't care if I'm catching a long pass, short. It was just, that's his nature. And I respected Corey, and I had some success against him now. But he was tough from the physical standpoint. The guy that was most frustrating was Martin Mayhew. And it wasn't because I couldn't defeat him. It was because he would bite on all my double moves to where he would either tackle me, grab me, hold me, trip me, or something. So I would not get the big play. So I may end up with that game with 3 pass interference calls with, 1 catch for 10 yards. So it was the most frustrating. And that was done on design. Why give up the big play when I can just get a 10-yard penalty? So he would bite on pretty much every single play. And if he was wrong, he was going to just get the PI.
And that hurt you badly, didn't it, Herman?
It did. I would have probably crossed that 10,000-yard barrier if you take away the PIs and some of the other little small things in between. But, hey.
You looked at that line and it just... So
no,
which
receiver? No, the other one. But let me just say this real quick. So here's one that was really many people may not remember a guy by the name of Bobby Taylor, I think it was, who played with the Eagles. He's like 6'4", 6'5". I mean, I was like literally standing at this guy eye to eye or looking a little bit shorter. But I knew I could beat him with speed at the line or my foot speed. And he'd always have Troy Vincent that was playing over the top. Even though they wouldn't say it, they thought they could use him one-on-one, but he would have double coverage. But he was another kind of tough one because he had long arms. And unlike the shorter guys you could just beat and get by him, his arms were still so long that you had to beat him with more than a step or two. But, yeah, this is a different play depending on the player.
Okay, so question of if you keep in touch with some of your former teammates. Who do you still keep in touch with?
Love hearing from my guy, Brett Perriman. For those who may or may not be aware, ended up having a little medical issue that, slowed him down just a little bit. But, man, he was just a great teammate, a great person to play with from a competitive teammate. But we were doing the same thing to make our team successful. But he always pushed me, never let me let my guard down. Keep in contact with Johnny Morton, keep in contact with Scott Mitchell. I know that's a fan favorite. I know all y'all are calling for number 19 to come back, right? Okay. But that's my guy, whether you like it or not. So that's my guy, man. Scott, that's my guy, man.
It is your guy. I was being serious.
Charlie Batch every once in a while, talk to him. Barry, of course, see him. And Lomas, that's my brother. That's my big brother. But, he's probably the one I talk to the most would be LB, a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame, that hopefully one day he's going to get his ticket because he's overdue. And great guy.
I'll pass it to you, Matt, to ask the next question.
Oh, so I had a question from Samuel Lang in the chat, and he's talking about building chemistry when you're not actually training. So obviously in the off season, we saw Goff training with his receivers, but they were all fit. Jameson isn't fit right now. And you see him kind of in the ear of the coaches trying to learn the playbook. But in terms of building chemistry with the quarterback, what can you actually do if you're an injured player?
I think the way you build the rapport with your teammates is just showing that you're mentally there. You can't physically be on the field, but with Jameson, I think when you're a player and there's so much expectation because of the fact that a team traded up to get you, then you're going to have expectations not only in terms of your work ethic to get back to health, your ability to sit there and study and learn the playbook and be ready to go, but studying the playbook and then getting out and actually repping it on the field is two totally different things. If you can't do that, the playbook is one element of it, but he's still going to be missing the physical part of it, the timing part of it. And then just getting over just when you start putting all that weight on your back with tackles and a linebacker or a combination, people going low on your legs and all that, it's a whole different barrier that's got to be crossed over. So they're not going to talk about that and people are going to make light of it. But to have that camaraderie and to get that touch that he needs with his teammates, he's just got to be present. He's got to be present in the places that are all but physical on the field with this team.
All right, Mike, throwing to you for the next one.
Got two questions for Herm. Herm, why are we not at 100 likes? We're at 97 right now. How can we get it to 100?
I mean, I can start singing and then they can just hit the like button and make me stop. I mean, I'm sure we can get there for that.
3 away, folks. We could get Herm to sing.
Herm, what song are you gonna pick?
I'm trying to think. I got to think of something that is very repeatable, and just the lines are just over and over and over and over the same thing.
You can sing the Happy Birthday song.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't want to do the happy birthday. Maybe I'll do a little Otis Redding, like,
Hey, got 100.
These tears are
You didn't even start, and
mine. I'm so lonely. Or something. See, I don't even know the words to that either.
Hey, that's fire right there. That's $1 million track right there.
3 lights. Hey, listen. All we're looking for is 3 lights. Come on, man.
Hey, we just got
What I gotta
15.
say?
that's before you started,
15 more.
man. You didn't even need to go.
We got 15 because of that. He's killing it, folks. If you like to hear him sing,
You couldn't have picked
No,
a better
you have
range.
to-
Like you went there.
I mean, I'm trying to think of like you got to
You
name
could
a
have done
song for me
sitting on the dock of the bay. Like that's a little like
Sitting
lower
on
tone
the
for
dock
you.
of the bay,
oh, that's a great song.
wasting time. I left my
There you go.
home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay, 'cause I got nothing to live for. It seems like nothing's gonna come my way. Now I'm just gonna sit on the dock of the bay. There you go.
Hey, that's
Did
my
I
guy
get at
TA's
least 2 more
favorite song,
likes?
man. Love it. Love it.
All right. Hey, that's why I lip sync.
Hey, you're wasting time.
Noted.
We are
Can you do the
13,
whistle?
13 viewers away from a record on this channel. 13 viewers away. If we get 13 more, it'd be a record-breaking stream. That would be fantastic. Which Lions player do you see having the best season on offense and defense, Herman?
Offense, I'm gonna go with that's a
Go ahead,
tough
say your guy.
one.
Just say your guy. Just say your guy.
I mean, I'm gonna say DeAndre Swift. I think, but here's how I want to preference this. All right, follow me. Improvement from year over year, to me, is where I'm going with which guy offensively is going to really have that breakout. I think he's going to have double-digit touchdowns. I think he's going to rush over 1,000 yards. I'm going out there, and if he doesn't, he's going to have a combined total of close to 1,500 yards between rushing and receiving.
There you go, says Herman.
Tell me. 700 yards
Okay,
rushing.
defense
I can
is
see him
bad.
getting
Defense.
700 yards receiving. Defense. Man, that's going to be a tough one. I want to go with Aidan, man, but seems like I'm just going the easy route. And I think because of, and I'm going to go there. Here's why I'm going to go there. Because of the fact that he's going to be in such a visible position, I think teams are going to make him have to earn their respect. So they're not going to double him right away, because in the NFL, the first thing you think of is, hey, you're an NFL player, he's an NFL player, you got to be able to beat him. And there's some good tackles in the league that he's going to be facing coming off that end. And then I just think there's going to be optics are going to be there, and I think he's going to step up to the plate. I really do. Do I think Rookie of the Year type honors? It's a lot of players out there that got to vie for that, but I do believe he's going to make it to where you understand why he was picked so high, and he'll have some success. I know there are some people that are kind of on the fence about it, but I do believe, barring injury, that he's going to hit some numbers. I really do. I almost see him really like what you saw with TJ Watt. I watched his career and how he kind of came along, and he came out of the shadows of his brother, and he just came into being a play. They got that same physical dimension. They got the same type of energy and will. You know what's coming. You know what kind of player he is, and people you still can't stop him. You can limit him, and I think he can get there as long as he stays healthy.
I think
I
he's
think
a lock
Alim
at
McNeill
defensive
have
player of the
a
year. I think he's going to be defensive rookie of the year. I mean, defensive rookie year, I think he's going to get it.
Yeah, I just think it's a strong possibility for him. And then also I look at Chicago. I look at the teams he's going to face twice a year in Chicago, Minnesota, Green Bay. It's going to be tough to get to Rodgers. Rodgers just type. He likes to just throw it away. I don't care. He's not going to take the sack, and he's trying definitely not give option, right? But the others, I think there's going to be opportunities. He's going to have to get past some pretty decent lines, but I think he's going to catch people off guard. He's going to have that young spirit, that young energy that sometimes people overlook. You've seen that in some of the other skill positions, but defensively, we haven't seen that in a while where someone just comes in and just kind of dominates right out the bat. And I think he's probably that player.
It's been since Sue. And what I've seen at training camp, Herm, this guy is looking really good. He's the best player on the defense from what I'm seeing. And he's
right.
everything.
And he's going to put on some
2 pick.
Right. And you know what, Mike, one other thing, I apologize for cutting in there, but I think also he's gonna not necessarily put on a lot more weight the wrong way. I think it's going to be that solid mass. I think he's going to get lean but thicker. And when you start pushing on NFL size, and I know that people say, hey, he came from the Big Ten, he's played against some of the bigger guys, and it's just a different strength. Like I came out, it wasn't necessarily when guys get out of the college that they're big and they're strong. You just get stronger. You get it, the physical side of it is a little bit different. Your strength gets a little bit bigger. Your mental strength gets a little bit big, stronger. It's just a different type of strength that the players have. And I see that happening with him, and that athleticism is going to definitely win the day for him in several games.
All right.
I mean, I got to go to the other side of it. I think that people are going to turn on the tape from camp. They're going to go, how are we going to scheme against this defense? I would be surprised if you don't see Hutch get double teamed every single play, but that's going to open it up for Charles Harris. I think Alim and I think that Hutch are going to get all the attention on that line. And Harris, part-timer to begin with, then full-time when Romeo goes down. 7.5 sacks last year. But Hutch is going to open up for him big time. I can't wait to see him break through the double-digit barrier.
Yeah. And I think to add to that, the reason why I even mention that is I've seen a lot of players that people know are coming their way, right? And sometimes they're players that just won't be denied. And I agree with you. I think his presence and the fact that teams are going to figure out how do we stop him and how do we game plan to that is going to free up the defense to have some other wins and some other successes by other players. But ultimately, teams have to go back because they go, you know what, we have to be able to go man-to-man. We have to be able to do some single blocks. We got to be able to also go his side. Otherwise, we become too predictable to go one side and always run away. Even I've seen teams, try and run away from Reggie White. You can only do it for so long before you say, hey, I got to give up a half or a third of my playbook because of one player. So, yeah, I agree. There's going to be some really interesting things to watch. I'm so excited about this season because unlike other years where we go, yeah, I hear you. Even like last year, we kind of knew it was going to be bad. How bad? Not as bad as we thought. But this year, it's unpredictable. You don't know how this team is going to field and how they're going to perform, how these players are going to play into this new role. The coaches have another year under their belt. I mean, it's just I'm super excited for it, and I haven't been that way in a long time as even a former player for the Lions.
All right, Mike, you ready to close us out?
Yeah, I can definitely close us out. First off, thanks to everybody getting on here. We were so close. We were 6 away from a record-breaking stream. Still absolutely outstanding.
Can you start singing again?
I was going to say, Herman, maybe if you sing, more people will show up.
Mike, do I need to sing again, Mike? You said we're 6 away. Come on, people. Come on, 6. We're asking for 6. We're asking for a half of a dozen. Come on, 6. We can't
We'll get them next time. We'll definitely we'll go get it next time. But that
James Brown.
All right.
Ooh, there we go. Yeah, James. Yeah, there we go. Get some James Brown. I should have did that
because then I really could have been repetitive. Good God.
Yes.
Hit me. Come on. Mazio, what I got? What I say? One side. Come on. Syria. Good God.
That's going to be, I'm going to do a 12-minute video of just that. Just a repeat, and that will get amazing amount of views. I think that's exactly what this Lions fan base needs. I know Jamal Williams would go crazy if he heard that. He'd be doing backflips at training camp. Matt, appreciate you getting on. What do you got to say to the folks when we close this bad boy out?
If you haven't liked the show, go and like the show. Get to LNU shop. Those T-shirts are super comfortable. If If you didn't get a question in for Herm, the next time he's on, you better get it in, otherwise you'll miss the boat. This Lions team is going to make waves. Don't forget to check out my guys at Roar the Lions UK. We had a really great bit yesterday talking about why, if there are any neutral fans out there, you need to go and support the Detroit Lions. No one knows better than I do, coming from the UK, how to pick a team, and this is the train to get on right now.
Yep, like, share, subscribe. Subscribe button is really easy to do. You just hit it. Also, again, check out lnushop.com. Absolutely fantastic gear. Got to get it. If you want to rep your Lions, that's what you do. The app is amazing, folks. I posted pictures. I did a live stream on there exclusively on this app. It hasn't popped up yet. There we go. Exclusively. You see that? That's an exclusive weird of me doing a live. I ain't doing it on YouTube. So with the smiles there, it's fun. So make sure you download that app, and I'll throw it to Chrissy while she says adios to the fan base, and then I'll get that end screen going for y'all.
Okay, yeah, I'll just tell everybody to tune in to our Herman Moore karaoke that we'll be having our new show. So go ahead and submit your songs for lip syncing and or performing, and we'll go ahead and get those rolled out.
Oh yeah.
I feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour. Take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder. Work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off at these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.